The apostrophe in the Italian language, 1. Why does the use of the apostrophe cause so much uncertainty? It's simple, because what's written and what's spoken don't match. Let's consider the last phrase I just used, d'accordo. When I say it, I don't separate the two elements it's made of. The preposition di, elided and reduced to just the letter D followed by the apostrophe, and the word accordo. I pronounce it d'accordo as if it were a single word. So if I don't know by heart how it should be written, how can I write it correctly? This is the case every time we use two words between which there is an apostrophe. Listen, l'amico, l'infanzia, un'anima, d'altronde, quant'altro. There is no pause between le and amico, un and anima, quant and altro. As a result, if I don't clearly remember the written form of these expressions, my doubt will show up in writing. So there's no other solution. We must memorize the cases where the apostrophe is mandatory. I won't list them all. I'll focus on the most important ones, the ones we encounter daily when writing. The apostrophe is mandatory with the article lo, which we reduce to lo with the apostrophe before a masculine word that begins with a vowel. L'amico, l'equatore, l'incontro, l'ozono, l'usciere. The apostrophe is mandatory with the adjective bello, which we reduce to bel with the apostrophe before a masculine word that begins with a vowel. Bell'amico, bell'esemplare, bell'incontro, bell'ospedale, bell'uomo. The apostrophe is mandatory with the adjectives questo and quello, which we reduce to quest and quel with the apostrophe before a masculine word that begins with a vowel. Quest'anno, quell'esemplare, quell'oggetto, quest'uso. Actually, with questo, it's often possible to also use the full form without the apostrophe. Questo aiuto, questo impedimento, questo usurpatore. But if you always use the reduced form with the apostrophe, you'll never be wrong. With the corresponding feminine forms, la, bella, questa, and quella, the apostrophe is almost mandatory. Why do I say almost mandatory? Because the general and absolutely correct tendency is to write l'amica, bell'amica, quest'epoca, quell'immagine, l'università, with le, bel, quest, and quel, followed by the apostrophe. But it can't be considered an error to write la eventualità, una bella espressione, quella invenzione, questa operazione, with the full forms la, bella, questa, quella, not reduced without apostrophe. My advice, however, even in these cases, is to always use the apostrophe. That way, you'll never go wrong. The apostrophe is mandatory in these set phrases. A quattro occhi, l'altr'anno, mezz'ora, nient'altro, quant'altro, sott'occhio, tutt'altro, tutte e due. The apostrophe is mandatory with the adjectives santo and santa, which we reduce to sant with the apostrophe before a proper name, masculine or feminine, that begins with vowel. Sant'Andrea, Sant'Anna, Sant'Egidio, Sant'Elena. The apostrophe is mandatory after these expressions where the is reduced to the letter D with the apostrophe. D'accordo, d'urgenza, d'oro, d'argento, d'eccezione, d'epoca. The apostrophe is mandatory after these expressions where da is reduced to D with the apostrophe. D'altra parte, d'altronde, d'ora in poi, d'ora in avanti. Finally, the apostrophe is used with these imperative forms. Da, reduced form of dai, second person of the imperative of dare. Don't worry, da everything to Marco. Di, reduced form of dici, second person of the imperative of dire. Di everything to Marco. Fa, reduced form of fai, second person of the imperative of fare. Fa as I say. Sta, reduced form of stai, second person of the imperative of stare, sta still, don't move. Va, reduced form of andare, go away. And po, reduced form of poco,
Do you want a po of bread? I know well that in today's Italian, alternative solutions without the apostrophe also circulate, and in our Italian dictionary, we acknowledge them. That said, to avoid confusion, I suggest you always write these forms with the apostrophe, even in text messages. What's the big deal in typing po with the apostrophe instead of with an accent? It's just one more character. Don't be stingy, and above all, don't be lazy.